Hey, lovely people, it's Mark here from Not Defining. This is my Bisexual Man diary where I just talk about what it's like for me being a bisexual man. It's unfiltered, unscripted, and I just make it so that hopefully we can all relate and feel less alone in what we're dealing with. So, I'm a bisexual man, I'm 35 years old, and one of the things that is coming up for me at the moment a lot, being the age that I am I ever going to have a kind of family, marriage, kids, that kind of heteronormative life? And I think this is something that a lot of people go through at this age, particularly if they are single. They think, am I going to do that? Am I going to be a parent and get married and have that kind of life? But it's particularly challenging, I think, for bi people or other queer people who have the capacity to have other gender relationships. There feels like these two options. One option is to be with a woman and to have that hetero-conforming lifestyle. And the other option is to kind of be queer, to really live in the queer community. And I know that those two options aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. I was actually married and we were both queer and we both engaged with our community. So it's not that stark choice, but in my head, it feels like that, and particularly as I get to my mid-30s, you start to think, oh, well, which one am I going to choose? And not only do I have that kind of thought in my head, but I also feel like other people around me expect that from me as well. As bi people, we're often expected to kind of pick a side, either be straight or be gay. And all of the structures around us kind of compound that. So, for example, when I'm in the queer community, that's often where I kind of socialize and things. I have friends who will say to me, oh yeah, Mark, I kind of forget that you're bi. I forget that you like women. I forget that because I just consider you as gay, as a gay man. Bi people, through no fault of anyone really, with the best will in the world, our identities can get erased when we're in the queer community. When I'm in a gay bar, first of all, they call it a gay bar. Yeah. Second of all, I'm assumed to be gay. People will say, people will refer to me as gay, or it happens all of the time. And so I feel like if I'm in that world, in a way, I'm subconsciously taking on this kind of gay persona or this gay lifestyle. And then, of course, you have the other side, which isn't really another side, but it just feels like that because it's the way that society makes us feel. The other side comes with a lot of opportunities, If you are gay or lesbian, then you're really kind of shut off from the straight world in a very stark way. Whereas bi people, we kind of have this tempting opportunity, we can just not be out, we can just be in an other gender relationship, and we can get all of the privileges that come along with being hetero assumed. And it's not my interest to get those privileges, but it is kind of an option that I could have. And so that's just something that I'm working through at the moment. Does anybody relate? I'd love to know. These are things, that can feel very isolating when we have to go through them by ourselves, but part of Not Defining is all about relating and sharing. So, at the age of 35, as a bisexual man, I am single, and this just goes through my head. Which way am I going to go? I always thought I would love to be married and have children, but there's a lot of kind of difficulty there. I'm fluid. I'm also on the asexual spectrum. So it's really difficult for me to date in the kind of heteronormative world. You know, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, bisexual people can just have the best of both worlds and it's easy for them. Well, the reality for me is that I actually find it very difficult dating in either the straight or the gay dating scene. I don't feel that the way that I am is understood or accepted, let alone celebrated in either world. And so I kind of stay single, really. There are some kind of apps and things out there, and some spaces in which diverse identities and experiences can be celebrated. But just the reality of it, the daily reality of it is really, really hard. So I don't know if anyone relates with that. Just being eternally single. And then the final thing, I guess, is that I don't really want to date. You know, I'm at this point in my life where I don't really want to date. I don't know whether it's the fear of, you know, what I just mentioned, you know, not feeling like you fit and not feeling like anyone's gonna be able to fit in with that. Or whether it's just the fact that as a bi, ace, fluid, queer person, I don't see dating in the kind of normative way. I don't see my aims in life being like, I must date and I must find a partner and I must be monogamous and I must fall in love in this very romantic, you know, cis hetero romantic kind of way and follow that treadmill and that path. For me, what I'm focusing on at the moment is working out what it is that makes me feel good, what it is that makes me feel loved, and trying to design that in a way that is authentic to me, and trying not to be swayed by the conventions and the norms of society. That can be challenging, that can be tough, that can be isolating. And I found that I have to be really, really strong to do that. You know, saying no when people are doing things that I don't instinctually like. You know, forging out my own path and saying, this is how I like intimacy, this is how I like affection, this is how I like sex, this is how I like my relationship to be. So at the age of 35, being a bisexual man in 2024, these are my thoughts. I am sharing them with you so that I hope that we can relate. So let me know in the comments if you do. I would love for you to come and subscribe if you like my content. If you're new here, welcome. We talk all about bisexuality and all different other kinds of issues related to sexuality. If you would like to join us, then please, I would love to see you. If you want to see my other bisexual diaries, then check here. Otherwise, I wish you a lovely day. Bye for now.